The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Trudging Thursday with Tyler. Trudging Thursday with Tyler. That works out well. How are you, brother?
Doing good. Thank you for having me back. How are you?
Been a couple weeks. I'm doing all right. You know, as my friend from Monty Man and Roger would say from Take 12 Radio, I have no valid complaints. So we were just talking a little bit before this. We were talking about a movie called Big Fish with Ewan McGregor. Fantastic movie. Reminds me of alcoholism, too. You didn't embellish your stories. Did you embellish stories? I did. I thought that's what you were supposed to do, actually.
Usually I had to unbellish some of my stories.
Embellish. They're unbellishable. All right, I'm trying to remember how it's because the chat is not up. There we go. That's what I was going for.
Nice.
Now it comes out weird when I do the clips because it takes up like that half of the camera. So if you could lean this way during most of it. There you go. Yes, Katie, I see you staring at me. But welcome, everybody. Good to have you. Tyler and I are back. It's been, what, three weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Been a little bit. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. Today we're going to talk about how we give grace to complete strangers, how we give more grace to complete strangers than we do our own loved ones. But, you know, we got to have a little chicanery before we get started here. I did go live earlier. We did our jokes, but we're going to do them again today. I'm going to do it again on this one because it's kind of fun, lightens things up, but I'm going to do it a little different this time. I'm not going to do dad jokes. Give me some jokes from the AA grapevine. So we're going to hear some really bad jokes. All right. Here we go. It's time for Dion and Tyler's Daily Funnies. Are you ready? I need introduction movie that like music like dun, 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 you know, a little jazz. All right, so let's get started. I do have a laugh track now though, so that helps if I can press the button on time. A joke comparing a cult and AA's highlights that what? No, these just explain jokes. Okay, we didn't need jokes. I need some good AA jokes. We'll go to Reddit. Fuck it. Guy dies of the drink at his funeral. A neighbor is consoling the widow. Sorry to hear about Fred, she says. He wasn't very old, was he? What did he actually die of? Alcoholism. Oh, poor Fred. Why didn't he go to AA? Oh, he wasn't that bad. Yeah, it's all right. What's the difference? What's the difference between a newbie and a puppy? The puppy quits whining after 6 months. Thank you. It's good having your own audience, isn't it, Tyler?
It's nice.
How many alcoholics does it take to change a light bulb? Just one. They hold the bulb in place and the entire world revolves around them. That's actually pretty good. We're going to do one more. It's a continuation of the last joke. How many Al-Anons does it take to change a light bulb? None. They detach and let it screw itself. How's that for grace? But welcome Welcome everybody to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Tyler is my other host. I don't like to have co-hosts and stuff. I mean, we're all here, all right? So we're all hosts. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Reminder: this is an interactive live, so feel free to put up your own comments, things that you go through. Maybe you're like, Dion, you're full of shit. That may not fly very well, but I will cover it. I'm wrong often.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great leeway, because what we're doing in this topic is confronting ourselves. We're kind of confronting ourselves by saying, hey, and why do we do this? Tyler, this was your topic, so I'm going to let you get it started, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So
figured you had some thoughts on it, so go for it.
I do. I definitely have, or at least some observations, right? So something that I have been noticing with myself lately, which is why I brought it up, because, I'm thinking about when am I, the least comfortable? When am I out of sync, right?
Okay.
And who am I being most critical of? Why am I being critical? And the answer to all of that is the people that are closest to me.
Hmm.
I work with the public, so like I deal with people every day, all day, and lots of them. And it is so much easier for me to give grace and be kind and just be understanding, like, oh, you never know what somebody else is going through, those kinds
Hmm.
of thoughts. It is so much easier for me to do that to strangers or acquaintances than it is for me to do to the people that are closest to me that I love the most.
Yeah.
I've been finding myself being hypercritical, and just having a lot of 10 step work to do, with
Hmm.
people that I love the most.
Yeah.
And sorry for like I work a program that has some steps in it, and when I say 10 step work, what I really mean is tell somebody what I did and make it right as soon as I
Yeah. Absolutely.
can. And it's just been getting challenging. I don't, there was a long time where that wasn't happening, and then I don't know what changed. I mean, there were a lot of changes. I now live
Okay.
with
Yeah.
people I didn't before.
Yeah, because you
But I'm
were living
finding myself,
alone and now you're living
yeah.
with people again, and that's a huge change. So
hmm But
absolutely.
I recently found myself being, discontented and irritable a lot more often than, Tyler generally is.
Mhm.
And so I knew something wasn't right. And so I just thought about it, and I'm realizing that that's it. Like, why do I give this grace to all these strangers and withhold it at home?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the answer that I'm currently seeking. And the first thing that comes to mind on that is, w- because I care, right? If I could turn my give a shitter down,
Mm.
those things wouldn't bother me anymore. And it's
Mm.
because I don't care what these strangers think about me. I do
Mm.
care about the people I love, what they think about me, what I think about them, the place that I'm
One good
living.
reason. Absolutely. Yeah.
um and then I think about, like, so I've got a fair amount of tools at my disposal, and then the spot it got it comes
Mhm.
up, right? And there's a lot of that going on. So it's definitely not a one size fits all answer, right? For me, I definitely have seen that there's many different aspects of that.
Sure. Yeah, there's particulars in every single story. So
Mhm.
that's why we kind of do broad strokes here. Because when you start to get into the story, we start to get into particulars. And that's probably better suited for therapy or one-on-ones, things like
Yeah.
that. Um, there's one thing that comes to my mind, and I absolutely agree. It's like, when I used to train salespeople, or I was being trained by sales, they always said, go after your family and friends first. And I listened to that in the beginning, but I noticed something. The pitch I gave my family was crap. compared to the pitch I gave to complete strangers because I knew they were buying from me. And I did them a disservice by doing that. I did not give the whole pitch. So when I was training people in sales jobs, I told them no friends or family. No. Bye, sweetie. Love you. No friends or family because you're going to do a disservice. We're just going for low hanging fruit. Then that's going to create what's called a false confidence. Oh, well, I closed mom because she'll buy anything from me, right? Then I go to my first appointment and they're like, get the fuck out. Right. So that's another thing. Abandonment is I would say the issue. There's a fear. There's a fear. We've all been abandoned, and due to our alcoholism, right? But it's just an everyday thing too, and even non-alcoholics do this. If you have somebody in your life that you care about and you have a bad day, you take it out on the people you love the most. Everybody does that. And it comes down to this fear of abandonment. Yeah. We have things like separate. People think only dogs and cats have separation anxiety. No, we do too. My wife was just gone for 3 weeks. I could feel that. I felt it for sure. The space wasn't being used up, and I didn't run into her in the hallway, and and these things. You know, um, So what do you think on that? Maybe a sense of abandonment that we want to keep people close.
Yeah, I mean, there's so there is that fear, right? Like maybe so going along with the fear and abandonment, like the fear of a stranger not liking me, like I'm just going to be kind and be nice to them because I want everyone to like me, right?
Okay.
And I don't want these strangers to not want to see me again given the opportunity.
Hmm.
Yeah, like there's a fear of that abandonment. um and then with the loved ones, maybe for me it's because I don't have that fear. Like these are the people that have
Yes,
always been there. And so I think that it's definitely taking that for granted, right?
they're
I'm being crappy
abusing.
to them because I
Yeah.
don't, because they're gonna be there. They're gonna
Yep.
have to take it.
Yeah. What it is abuse of unconditional love.
Absolutely.
That's what
Yes.
we do. We abuse unconditional love, right? For I'm just going to use my relationship with my wife. There was a lot of times when she asked me, she's like, Dion, you treat me, you act differently with me than everyone else. And there's a very good reason for that. I still do, right? Because I feel like here's the thing. I can be 100% Dion around her and I know she don't care. That's why. Because I can act my weird self. I mean, you were listening. I didn't know my microphone was on. You listen to me. I walk around doing that all day long, where I'm just singing.
Mhm.
I don't care who's home. I don't care who can hear me. The neighbors are far enough away, so they don't really hear me. And I'm weird. I walk around. I talk to myself. I stem all day long. I hear ding ding. I got is that I'm running around going ding 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 ding, and it's got to drive her crazy. Ding 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 ding, babe. Don't get me started on "Bird is the Word" because I will sing that for 20 hours straight. I won't mean to. Now it's stuck in my head.
I have heard.
Yeah, but have you heard of the word?
um
He's like, I'm not gonna say it, jackass.
it's that's a bad one for me.
Yeah.
That'll get stuck up there for years.
Do
But
do
yeah,
do do do
maybe
do.
maybe there's something there, right? I'd like to think that I'm me all of the time and I'm not
Sure.
wearing a mask, but part of some of my things are masking, and maybe that's it, part of it too, right? I can finally take the mask off around these people, and
Mm,
it's like, oh, cool, you're gonna love me, abuse of unconditional love, and I finally get to not be masking, and
Yeah. Now,
so
now let's
maybe there's just a misalignment of
sure.
being who I am all the time.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I feel like if I let everybody know who I truly am, but I mean, am I really putting on a mask? Am I putting on a show? I would have to agree with you. Sure, I am.
Right. Or maybe it's that the capacity isn't there yet, right? Like maybe I'm not masking, maybe I'm being the best version of myself that I can be.
I would
And
agree with that more.
then then the cup empties.
Hmm.
And then, I have to refill the cup. But in between that cup getting empty and me refilling it is me not giving the same kind of grace I give to strangers on the
It's the
home front.
uncomfortable part. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I would agree because there's times when I come on here and I do lives and I'm having a bad day. There's some days I come on, I'm depressed, and I hide it? I don't hide it, but I don't let it come out either. I don't want nobody wants to listen to me yell, scream and yell. Crying, they don't, so that doesn't seem to bother people as much, but they don't want to hear me yelling and screaming. And so I have a different arena for that. I have my friends. I have a sponsor. I try not to go to my wife about those things anymore. I try and alleviate because she already deals with Dion enough. All right. Let's take this same concept and let's move it into an AA meeting. Do we give the same grace to people that we are um that we start to get to know in AA? Do we give those same people the same grace that we give complete strangers? Because I don't think that we do.
No, but I feel that there's an inherent level of accountability that comes with recovery, right? Like
There we go.
we're
Okay.
learning to be accountable, and we
Hmm.
have to have someone or something to do that with, to
Hmm.
hold the accountable part of it.
Hmm.
For me in the beginning, that was you. Well, in the beginning, it was just the place that I was going and that group
Sure.
of
Yeah, your
people.
AA group or wherever you
Um,
were at the time.
yeah,
Sure.
and eventually, you were the one to help walk me and guide me through the steps, and you were the person that I started learning to be accountable, to
Hmm.
learn accountability and consistency with. Um, so yeah, like that being said, there's the newcomer who's going to have all the grace I can give in the world, and then
Yeah,
there's
absolutely. If
and
there's
then
somebody
there's
that gets a lot of grace, it's the newcomer.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's the litter mates, the people that I grew up with. And so like now there's this like level of, hey, you should be doing what you say at this point. There's
Yeah.
some there, and again, that's me putting my expectations on others, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a reasonable, expectation. But then there's that gap in between, right?
Yeah.
The 60 days, the 90 days where you're earning that trust back. You're just starting to see those changes
Yeah.
in your relationships, and that's where there's that's where it's kind of challenging, because you move from that, grace to that accountability kind of
Uh-huh.
in that time zone. Um, and so it does, vary. But what's happened there for me is I've started to care about the person.
Ah, I think now we're getting somewhere, right? Um, because when I was younger, or when I was younger, let's just put it this way: when I was drinking, my saying was, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. And in a sense, I did not. But if I would have been able to be honest with myself, I would have figured out that I was wrong. Um, Now, as the general public goes, no, I don't care what people think of me, you know. But the people in my life, some of my other friends, my wife, my kids, my grandkids, my mother, a couple of my brothers and sisters, I very do much care what they think about me. because then what they think about me is what God's will is for me. These are the people, like yesterday, we heard somebody in a meeting and they were upset with a friend because they put a 72-hour hold on them. I think by the end of the meeting, they figured out that that's probably a really good friend to have.
Yeah,
Only
I mean,
it takes a lot of love. Go for it, man.
uh, bingo, right there, right? A lot of love. It took me a long time to understand that when you love someone, you have to understand, or maybe you don't have to understand, but it is inevitable that you will hurt them and that they will hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do when it does?
There you go. Yeah. I'm sure even in our relation, I can't really think of, well, moving away, when you moved away, I was a little upset with you, but I'd say that's the closest I've gotten to being upset with you. You're my
Well, right,
you're
and
my
there's that
friend. You make
up
mistakes.
abandon,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're one of the people that I saw on a regular basis. So, but I was upset because I'm a selfish fuck and I want what I want. Right. We still have the same relationship. We get along great, but
they're still going to give you
but
cookies.
when I knew that I could just go up the street and see you, gosh, that was awfully convenient.
Absolutely. The proximity is
Yeah.
huge, especially with people similar to us with that kind of, codependency type abandonment, problems, or at least me,
Mhm.
I need to see people every day, or never. That's kind of how it feels. I either see you all the time or I never see you. There's not really an in between for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I seem to see the same people every day, but that's a good thing.
Mm,
Because I need that. I really need that accountability. You don't, because people tend to think that people with long-term sobriety or a little bit of sobriety under their belt um, are just carefree with no accountability. No, if anything, I have to have more accountability in my life because of the things that I do. Um, I work with a lot of people and stuff, so I have to be very transparent, which can be hard because then people can attack that, right? They can go after certain things. Um, Definitely, and I kind of wanted to reiterate that grace that we give the newcomer. That is the same grace that was given to me. And what I'm doing is I am paying that forward. I am passing that on. I work with sponsees and work with other people because there was a man that decided to take his time and his effort and a little bit of his money to spend on me so that I could become a better person. And I respect that and I stay loyal to it by helping other people. All he asked was I pay it forward. That's all he asked. So um, and we did not stay friends. When we were done, we were done. But I contact him once a year at my birthday and say I'm still sober. This is what I'm doing, and I do that so that he knows I was worth his time and that I'm doing that. It makes his day better. Now I get to pay back maybe a little bit to the man that gave me something.
Absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, your debt's repaid. You can take it off your shoulders if you'd
Yeah.
like. I still got some paying to do. And that's, exactly like you said, right? The only way that I can really pay that debt back is to do it for someone else, give what was
Yeah.
given, um, yeah, I mean, and it is so much easier to do something like if I wanted to climb Mount Everest, I could train all I wanted. I could read as many manuals as I wanted. But when it came down to going there and climbing the mountain, I'm going to want a guide. I'm going to want somebody who's done it before. And
Absolutely.
those are things that I'm going to check for. Like, hey, have you done this before? Because sometimes you get people that I try to mentor or guide, and you don't ask those questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, have you done this? What qualifies you for this? Because that's like I wouldn't want to go to business. Like I wouldn't want somebody to teach me about business who's never had a business, right?
It'd
Like
be
I
like
don't want
having
that.
a life coach who's 16 years old.
Or a lifeguard who doesn't know how to swim, right?
There you
Like,
go.
or
Yeah.
somebody who's doing
And
who's
uh,
teaching
when
people to be lifeguards but doesn't know
when
how to swim.
when the lifeguard's wearing floaties, yeah, we're probably in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it was, I was given a lot of grace because I needed floaties,
Yeah,
and eventually you taught me how
absolutely.
to swim.
Yeah,
And
I needed training wheels. You bet.
you demonstrated that type of grace, and I've seen that demonstrated multiple times from people that I admire and respect. And so that's
Mm.
what I want to do.
Yeah,
Um, but, and here's the thing, those people I generally don't see interacting with their families, interacting with their kids, interacting with, that's, I see them interacting in different, different
mhm,
venues. So, I can't always see the demonstration. I can hear about it and I
sure.
can do my best to duplicate, but if I described the Mona Lisa to you and you tried to draw it, it's probably not going to look like the Mona Lisa,
Yeah,
versus if you looked at it and could trace it and saw images. So,
yeah. Well, and
um,
because I went and looked it up, and I got one answer. It says we are nicer to strangers just because they cannot see the real us within a short period of time. So maybe it also has to do with the amount of time we're around somebody, and maybe we're just trying to do the best that we can. You brought it up earlier, the best we can in that moment to make them have a better day. And that certainly is grace, right? Um, when you were saying that, something popped into my mind. When I was reestablishing my relationship with my youngest daughter, she wanted to come out, she wanted to come over, hang out here and there. But and I figured it was to hang out with me. But the reason was she wanted to see how I was treating my wife. That's what she wanted, and that made a lot of sense to me. She's like, if he is treating her right, then he's treating other people right, because that's the one person that he's going to take stuff out on. So, really good concept. If you really want to get to know somebody, go hang out with their significant other, because when couples get together, they act the way that they act. There's no, people in recovery anyway tend to be that way. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, my wife and I will bicker right in front. Well, you rode in the car enough with us. You see how my wife and I act. We give each other shit all the time.
it is some of the best giving each other
But
shit.
yeah,
Some of the
it's all out
healthiest
of
giving
love.
each other shit I've ever
Yeah,
seen. It's hard to not start giggling
yeah.
at
We
the worst
because
possible
we
time.
make that's because nothing's off the table. We'll make fun of ourselves too. It's funny that
I I
we're gonna.
I hate to say that I love watching you guys bicker,
Yeah,
but I mean,
it it's kind of like watching Archie Bunker.
it's very sitcom-y.
Yeah, it's kind of more like a 70s sitcom. Not quite as un-PC as those, but yeah. Um, yeah, we're very, very attached. It's a great relationship. In fact, Shannon and I are going to be starting a podcast series also. I think it's about time.
Oh,
Um,
that's a wonderful idea.
well, and people have been bringing it up, but my wife's mine, and I don't like sharing. I like sharing. She's mine. So I get a little selfish. That was part of it. That night, I kind of wanted to do the best that we could, and I think we're at that spot. So what? Chat GPT gave us a couple things here. Why do strangers get my best behavior? Why am I smiling at the cashier, patient for the guy in traffic? But one wrong word at home, and I'm reacting from old patterns. All of a sudden, I'm going crazy, right? Because of one thing. Um, maybe all day I hadn't been getting what I wanted, and when I got home, it happened again, and that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, Now this isn't a matter of if that happens; it's going to be a matter of when it happens, because we're human, and so we can't be perfect at this. So what are we going to do? We got to recognize that behavior. Hey,
Yeah.
babe, I didn't get my way all day, and I am in a mood. I don't mean to be, but I need to go do something, or but if you let them know what's going on, yeah, it's lost its power, right?
Absolutely. I think I recently realized that because for me there's some there's some spiritual stuff that I need to do in order to live a life worth living, right?
Yeah,
To for both myself and everybody else
and
that I
everybody
care
in
about
contact with you,
and all the
absolutely.
strangers. And one of those things is meditation and some prayer, uh, and I think I know that one thing I hadn't been doing to the best of my ability. Maybe I was, but I did something clicked the other day, and it was, I've been asking for guidance to do the right thing, um, but what I forgot to do is to ask to have some of my shortcomings or defects be
Oh,
removed.
okay.
So so a couple days ago I started, asking for my criticism to just give that to
Yeah,
my higher power, right? Like that's fine. I don't need to criticize anyone. I just need to try and do a little bit better than I did yesterday.
yeah,
That's really all the criticism that I need to be doling out. Um,
yeah,
and so I kind of, I there was a part of my spiritual toolkit that helps me live a life worth living that
mhm,
I was just kind of not using there. Like,
yeah.
oh man. And so these last couple of days, it's been, hey, like, hey, please help me not be critical of
There you go.
others.
Nice.
And I gotta tell you, like the last two
It
days have
worked.
been a whole lot better than the previous few.
It worked. Yeah,
Um, so there's and if I hadn't talked about not doing so well and how I'd been struggling, then I wouldn't have been able to get to that point.
yeah.
If I just kept holding it in,
Were
things would have gotten a lot
were
worse, a lot quicker.
were you running your mouth to get attention, or were you running your mouth to get to the solution? I think that's the difference there,
I
right?
think it was to get to the solution, but what was the problem? It turns out the problem was Tyler wasn't getting what he wanted.
There, and that's usually the problem. That's almost it's usually what it is. But if we can confront it or think about it a little bit before we get home, you don't really want to go home and kick the dog and be in a bad mood. This is a time when you're supposed to be able to relax, take it easy, and yes, alcoholic, you do deserve some peace in your life. You do deserve some serenity, absolutely. Um, so if we can look at these things beforehand, then we're not taking it out on our loved ones. And instead, we can go to our loved ones who can help us with a solution. Well, and they'll probably say something like, is there something I can do? And our answer is usually no, because just saying it out loud took its power away. Yeah, there's not much if there is, I will let you know. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go spend 15, 20 minutes by myself. Or in Dion's case, a couple hours.
Yeah, right.
Takes
Like
me a little.
stating your needs.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something that's newer to me, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think I've gotten a lot better. I know that I've gotten a lot better at asking for help, and that was something that I've been focusing on for the last couple of months.
Hmm.
Um, Outside of my recovery, just in general, asking for help was something that just there were some outside things of not feeling good enough, but
Yeah.
I would take so instead of going out and drinking at it with other people after work, I'd come home and criticize about it, you know,
Yes.
because Tyler got upset earlier and didn't get what he wanted. He's going to make sure that everybody around him does things perfectly,
Yeah. Well,
which
and there's
is
also the thing where, sometimes I'll go, family members are kind of the hardest to solve things with, right? Well, it really depends. So if you can take that problem to somebody outside of who is not who's not going to be affected by it. And the thing is your significant other is affected by everything you do. It doesn't matter what it is. They are affected by it because they live with you. So constantly going to our significant others to solve our problems is not the way to go either. We need to find that's why I have closed mouth friends.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the friend that it doesn't affect. That's where I
Yeah.
go.
And also it's not fair to the significant other.
Absolutely not. They already dealt with our bullshit. We need to start, and that comes back to taking responsibility for your triggers. I hate saying it because I get triggered a lot, and it'd be a lot easier if I could just blame everybody else for making me feel this way. But really, I'm allowing it.
Yeah.
I'm letting that happen.
Well, and that's,
And
that's
it was a
something that I
hard
was not
turn to
doing.
make.
And I thought that I was, right? And that's
Yeah.
how my mind likes to play its own little gymnastics in, to be on that mountain of right. Um,
Mhm.
I love being on the mountain of right. The problem is it's really
Absolutely. I
hard to
feel
be at the
righteous. Yeah.
it's really hard to be at the base of the mountain planting your flag. You
Yeah.
know?
And somebody's up top going, "How's the weather down there?"
I'm like, oh, I thought I was at the peak.
Yeah.
Um,
Thought I was at the peak.
so
But it was the
I
base camp.
and that's where I was at. That's the point I was at. I'm like, look, I'm using these tools. I'm doing this about it. I'm doing this about it. I'm doing this about it. And I'm still having these problems. Oh, okay. Well, did you use your flashlight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I see.
Yeah.
So and it's crazy how just using the right tool for the job has, in a short time made a drastic impact
Yeah.
on both me and the people closest to
Yeah.
me.
Well, it's kind of like calling tech support. Calling your sponsor, calling a close man friend is like, okay, your TV is not working. Is it plugged in? Did you pray? Is it plugged in? Did you pray? No. Okay. Are there batteries in the remote? Okay. Do you need to put new batteries in the remote? Did you hit the power button? What channel is it on? See, all these little simple things. All these simple things. Amber likes to be a smartass. She says, I used my black light. So, and Amber, you would have appreciated it earlier because I'm like, we better get started or people are going to say we're going to be late. And I accidentally cut Tyler off and he's all, but you're a wizard. I was like, oh man, I already hit the button too fast. I already hit the. What are some other things here? So being familiar with things lowers your guard, right? And if we're still living in old wounds, we still have expectations of other people. Oh, don't talk about that. No, it triggers me. I can't. No. Right. Um, and when we're around familiarity, family, these words go together. Family means familiar. It means we know each other, right? And not all family is blood. Might be your best friend. And I've been hearing this a lot lately. My uncle's my sponsor. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. There's a line. Maybe temporary spot till you find something, but we got to be careful on, that'd be like me sponsoring, you know, well, at this point, Tyler, it'd be like me starting to sponsor you right now with everything I know
You'd
about
be
you right
you
now.
can't. You're
You
too
wouldn't,
close.
yeah,
You can't get that outside perspective.
you wouldn't have gotten the same information because I would have done you wrong because I'm familiar with you. No, I'm not doing anything wrong. We can't help ourselves. This is just the human condition. The best we can do is recognize. That's the best that we can do. So we recognize and then we make the change, right?
Hmm.
Like the man in the mirror. Right.
So one other thing that I just keep thinking about today, especially during this conversation, is in the program that I use, the last part of it says basically we use these tools in everything we do, not
Yes.
just to for recovery. And I feel really good about my use of it in as far as recovery goes. I feel really good of it as far as my use of it in my workplace setting, as far as my use of it in the general public setting. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done
Mm,
in the home, right? Which is one of my affairs. So,
mm,
just kind of, refocusing on, so like I want to be of like the greatest value and service that I can to others. Like my whole goal is like, if you got to see me today, your day is going to be better. Not because I'm an awesome person, but because I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that, you feel valued. Um, and that's something that a lot of people are missing in their lives. So that's something that I am capable of adding to
mm.
people's lives. And why would I not want to do that at home? There's not a good answer there. And it's, I wrote it down in big letters and circled it: abuse of unconditional love.
Mhm.
The other part is, that is my cup empty. And then we can't have a conversation about treating people poorly without talking about halt.
Yeah.
Uh, I should make sure that I have eaten something before I come home. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of times a sandwich gets rid of the anger and the criticism,
How many sandwiches do they eat in the big book? Every other page is talking about a sandwich.
So, like that's hung. So if you're unfamiliar, halt is, when you're like never get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Mhm.
And I tend to forget about the hungry one. And I love food. I could eat all day. It's not, there's not a problem there. It's just sometimes like I'll forget to eat.
Oh, that would be
Um,
me. Yep.
so, to combat coming home and kicking the cat, I make sure I'm not with an empty belly before I come home.
Yeah.
That's like, it seems like
Or
it's
even
the
understanding
least I could do.
that by the time you get home that you're hungry and it's probably best if you take care of that first or walk in and say,
Yeah.
I haven't eaten yet. Let me eat. So
Hmm.
you can certainly do a few things there. Um, so grace is not a mood, it is a practice, just like you were saying. And grace is one of the principles that we practice. Even though it's not one of the principles of the 12 steps, it's still a principle we utilize, right?
Absolutely.
And we can do that because we have experienced grace, number one, through being a newcomer and the obsession being lifted, which is a grace of God. What is grace but a free gift? It is an unwarranted gift. So that means when we're doing it because we love the person, right? And that comes back to love. So when I'm using unconditional love and I go out and run into other people and help out and do those things, I have to carry that same spirit in my home, that same spirit, or at least do the best that I can. Because at the same time, I'm not going to treat my wife like I treat everybody else out there. She's my wife and she deserves certain things that other people just don't get. Like me being weird. Chris likes that part of me because I'm funny.
Yeah.
Or at least
Um,
I think I'm funny. Hi, Michelle.
that's
Good
a
to see you.
that's a very good point, right? If you did the things I did and drank the way I drank, and you have anybody remaining in your life, like that's only because of an extreme amount of grace given.
Hmm.
Like, and as an like I'm an alcoholic, so as an alcoholic, my forgetter is just top notch, right? I'd come out of jail and stop at the liquor store on the way home because I forgot about all the shit that got me into jail, right? Like,
Yeah.
it'll be okay this time.
Well, I'm not
Uh,
in jail right now, so
like,
I'm gonna do
when
what
are
I
the
want.
stitches coming out? Oh yeah, I forgot about those. So it's easy to slip into those types of habits, right? Like forget that, like I wouldn't be here without these people. Like,
Mhm.
I owe everything to them. The least I can do is not be angry that they didn't clean the counter to my specs, or unload everything else about my day onto them.
Yeah.
That's not fair either. I should just come at that's not making their day better, you know. So those are some things that are really going to help with bringing that grace that I give unto strangers back into the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eat before I get home. Ask for criticism to be taken away, because that's for me, that's where it comes with is you could have done this better. You didn't do that right. Those are the things that get me, is Tyler's way. So just get rid of it, man. Close Tyler's way down. If things happen to line up that way, thank you. If they don't, thank you. Because I'm still here, and I'm alive, and the best thing I can do is make sure that the people who made that happen don't have worse days because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can figure out that maybe giving grace to our families as much grace as we give to the newcomer, then we can start to get somewhere with it.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll reverse it. I'll just start being an asshole to everybody I work with.
Now flip it and reverse it.
It's yeah.
Oh, don't put a song in my head. Do you have any parting words of wisdom for today?
Yeah. If you're working a program of recovery, don't forget about the people you love the most. Like, I don't treat them like strangers. Treat the people you care about the most like strangers.
Oh,
You know, but better.
but better.
They deserve it,
They do. They deserve. They deserve
whether you
anything.
think so or not.
Yeah. All right. And I would have to say, don't forget about giving yourself a little bit of grace too. You don't need to beat up on yourself all the time. You don't need to call yourself names. So, because I find, at least for me, I find when I give Dion a little bit of allowance for being human, then I'm doing that for other people too, because I'm my own worst critic. So if you can allow yourself a little bit of grace, you might start just doing it for other people. So, all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
We love you. You know we do. Peace out and keep